Hello, how you doing? This is Josh, Zelda Music, Josh Head. Today I want to show you a video on how to set up your MPC with your FL Studio. Now, what I mean by this, we're going to make it where you could press play on your MPC and it will start up the play cycle, stop, record, loop, any other parameters uh, that you want to control directly from your MPC. Now, out the box, now the now FL Studio doesn't allow you to do this. Now, inside of FL Studio, you can make it so you can make the MPC a slave, the MPC slave, sorry, FL Studio a slave, a master to the MPC. Now, MPC becomes a slave, but you can't do the opposite. So in this case, I'm gonna make it so you can make the FL Studio a slave. Now, there's the reason for this. The FL Studio doesn't allow for a MMC connection. So I'm gonna show you today what tools you need and how to make this a reality. So first thing first, be sure to like, subscribe, and I have other videos that's relative to the MPCs, other gear that I may have. So here we go. Let's get started and let's get started here. We're going to start off with the MPC. So right now I have a session, just a templated session. Go right into preference. You can see the layout. But before we go into the layouts of the MIDI, I want to just show you how the Ethernet is set up. So you can see the Ethernet, which is connected to the network here, like this network, the Akai Professional Network MIDI. That is what's connected here. I'm using an Ethernet cable that's connected to a USB port, right? Multi-port. Now with the MIDI, since it's using Ethernet, it's identified from within inside the MPC. You will find the remote, which is connected to that Ethernet, as you can see here. So if you notice the settings, all I have that's synced is the remote. And far as the inputs, it's just the global and control. And this is going to allow the FL Studio to control the MP while output controls the remote, right? I do have the Volt. I'm using the Volt on MIDI A, which is another MIDI control. But as I mentioned, this MIDI control out doesn't work directly in a studio like it does in Ableton or Pro Tools. So I'm gonna show you a different way of approaching it. So here's other settings. I have the receive MMC, because like I said, it does receive. Then we have the send this off. All right, so that's the basic controls of the MP. So now when we go into the FL Studio, I'm gonna introduce to you the gear that we're using. So as you can see, the only thing that I have going on inside of the MIDI, I have the DAW network control. That's not sending any master. Nothing's sending out right now. But in most cases, we could turn this on and now it will send it out to the MP, right? When we press play here, it plays on the MP, right? But here's where the changes happen. We're using a tool called, it's open. It's called the Bome MIDI Translator Pro. It's a pretty expensive software. It's about $70. But this tool will allow us to create the virtual MIDI connections that is needed to run the FL Studio and the MPC. So we're going to go ahead and get this connected. And as you can see here, this is what it looks like. So right now, I already created all of the parameters that are required. But I do want to show you one thing about this Bome MIDI Translator Pro is that if we go into View, Log, we can now see what MIDI is being inputted. So in this case, we'll press play, and right away you can see the MIDI Akai network, right? You see FA, which is a sign that it's starting. This F2 represents finding the location of the start point. FA is the start. Then as you see, I have FC is the representation of stop on the MPC. So what we're going to create is a virtual MP translator so that FL Studio can recognize these MIDI ports. So in this case, we're going to make it so when we press play, it's going to press the space bar to start. Press stop, it's going to press the space bar again. We could put additional parameters such as the loop or the overdub, record, but we're not going to go that far this time. I just wanted to show you the basics. So once you really identify what these MIDI messages represent, now we can create a new translator. As you can see, I already created some and I named it. So all it is, I created add translator, named it MPC play. The incoming tab, we changed it to MIDI messages. And then as you can see here, made it raw MIDI. Once that raw MIDI is there, we're going to type in the FA. Now the FA, like I said, it represents the start. Make sure the swallow MIDI message is running so it doesn't pass any additional MIDI with this message to the routed port. So this filters it out. Then we have the project presets, right? You can make specific port, but I don't recommend that. Once we have that, we're going to go to the outgoing. And you can see there's a lot of different tools we could use. MIDI ports, MIDI messages, even Apple script, right? There's a lot of things we could do. But in this instance, we're going to go into keystroke. In the keystroke, it allows us, as you can see here, set up various ways of operations once the MIDI is implemented. In this case, it's going to be a space bar. But as I showed you in the other controls, we could do a lot of different parameters and rerouting if we wanted to make even more complex MIDI code with this program. This is why it costs so much. So once we have the play, we're going to do the same thing with stop. But this time, we're going to use the FC. Raw, everything's the same, right? Once that's set up, well, we're ready we have this initial virtual machine design, which is the F Studio new preset. Now, if you go in here to this MIDI button that I just pressed, and we're going to activate, make sure the input of what we have here, the network is on, and make sure the virtual in is selected to turn on. This virtual port here, this one here is just a test port. It doesn't show up in the DAW. It's just used for debugging with inside. But the one that you want to make sure is working is the MIDI translator virtual in. And we're going to turn off this vault. Don't need a vault within inside of this particular setup because that could cause conflictions because it's having two different inputs happening at the same time. We don't want that because we're going to use that vault for the MIDI controller itself once inside the MPC. Once you have that, we can now go into the MIDI router. And a lot of times it starts off with here where it has all of the inputs, but we could show only display the project, which we're going to connect the MIDI network into the Bome virtual port. Since now this is already set up and ready to go, we could go back into the MPC, to the FL Studio. And as you can see, we have the Bome MIDI translator, which is already selected it, but it's being found now. It's not, the sync is off right now because we have to go into the Bome MIDI translator, generic, and let's make sure we have, got to turn it off, turn it back on. See that? Now it's ready to go. So now if I were to go into the MP, since we have everything set up, press play. So once you have it running, make sure you close up this MIDI settings, because like as we indicated inside of the application, it's going to press the space bar, correct? So now if we go into the MP, press play, running there. And if you go to the MP, you can see it running here as well. Press stop. Stops on here. Press play. Plays on here as well. All right, so hopefully that's been helpful to you. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day.